Hi, this is your girl Lessette, and welcome to My Perspective Mondays. And you know, we're gonna have a good time because we're gonna coming from different age groups, and you're gonna be able to know the thoughts of people on this show, okay? So first, we're gonna start off with our panel.
I'm Israel Maddox, and I'm 15 years old.
I'm Amanda Lane, and I'm 35.
And again, I'm Lessette, and I'm 50-something.
I'm Mark, and I'm 60-something.
Cool. You know, we're going to have a great time here today. Our topic today is, what is your favorite teenage TV show? Ooh. Can you think about that? You out there? Do you know what that is? Mine is I Dream of Jeannie. And I'm going to tell you why, since y'all asked. The reason why I like I Dream of Jeannie, because she can go and just blink herself somewhere everywhere and do all kind of crazy things. And I kind of like the Night Stalker.
What's that?
Why?
You don't remember? Well, of course you don't remember. The Night Stalker is this crazy detective running around the streets of New York, I think it was, and coming up with all kind of creatures he find and just werewolves and weird stuff. And I was afraid to go to bed at night. Can you believe that?
If you ever at Christmas time, if you ever watch the movie A Christmas Story about the kid that wants the BB gun, Darren McGavin, the father, he also played the Night Stalkers, who she's talking about.
Really?
So, yeah.
It's a small world.
So what about you?
Well, you know, my parents put me on all the old stuff, so I kind of grew up watching Good Times,
Ooh.
Jeffersons, and my personal favorite is Golden Girls.
Hey, I love JJ. JJ! Hey! I love JJ.
I know, I would say Dynamite with
I
him
know.
every time.
Did you like the Good Times after John Amos, the dad, was written out? You know, he died in the show. Was it better before or after that?
I haven't seen episodes after he died. I actually didn't even know that happened.
Well, I understand that he wanted the show to go in a more serious direction, and people like Jimmy Walker wanted the show to be more about comedy, and there's kind of a clash there. So he left the show and was written out, and then it became more about comedy than about social comment.
And I hated that because, you know, with I hate it because I needed him there in the family because he had a role to play.
Right.
And I hated him not dying in the accident and everything. What do you think?
You know, it's hard for a show to do both. To be both funny and appealing to an audience and also have like an undertone, political or like sending a message.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that a little bit, but she was about to call on her, but I'll tell you why I disagree with that.
No, I was going to ask you why in the world, your age, why do you like Golden Girls? That's what I want to know.
It's that kind of like cynical humor, not slapstick like stuff you'd find in like SpongeBob, but it's like those sharp comments, like every dialogue line is a punchline, and I love those kind of shows, honestly.
Okay. Amanda?
You know, I enjoyed watching Living Single and Martin. I just enjoy the comedy. I enjoy the like family aspect of it, of having different friends and just getting to know each other. You know, and you know, there were lessons in there too.
Now, I think my favorite character in Martin was what's his name? Shanae.
That was Martin.
It was the big husky guy that comes through the fire escape.
Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah, was not Tommy,
Okay.
not the bald-headed guy. It was a Bruh Man. It was someone. Was it Bruh Man? It was Bruh Man. Bruh Man was, he go, you know, I just thought he made the whole show, even though I love Martin and, you know, Gina and everybody. Definitely Bruh Man.
Martin, very funny guy, but I'll just get back to what we were talking about a while ago now. I have a lot of favorites, okay, so it's hard to pick just one favorite, but from the 1970s was the Norman Lear decade. And I say Norman Lear because he created a bunch of shows, some of the biggest shows of the 70s, including Good Times, including The Jeffersons, but it all started with All in the Family. Okay, that's all those shows were sort of sprung out of that. Sanford and Son was another one he had something to do with.
Watch that
yes,
too.
definitely.
Those are all Norman Lear.
Definitely.
And he broke so many barriers in terms of diversity of the cast, racial, ethnic diversity, but perhaps more important than that, the things they would talk about were things that didn't talk about on TV before that. And it was very funny, but it also had very serious undertones to it.
Give me an example.
Political, what of the serious undertones? I mean, Archie Bunker could say the dumbest, most bigoted things, most offensive things, and still make them funny. To some people.
Right.
But others would be offended by it. So either you loved it or you hated it, but you watched it.
Right.
What are some of the things he would say?
I can't say them because we're in a different environment now.
But
you know,
he would put down every ethnic group there
Yes,
was,
he would.
every sexual orientation, you
Yes,
name it.
he
He would anything different from him, he'd put down. And he was kind of a microcosm, or so they thought, in a way, of middle class America,
right.
both good and bad.
And
A lot
I see
of
what
bad.
you mean, because in the opening theme of Good Times, it's about a family trying to stay afloat.
Yes.
Even more so than just trying to be funny. They are a family trying to stay afloat.
And I loved Good Times because you know, trying to keep your head above the water and everything.
Exactly.
I was and during the time I used to see this movie. I mean, this little sitcom. I was in the projects, so I definitely could relate to what he was going through. And you know what? We're gonna talk about this in a few more minutes. This is really good, but I have to ask this question. Do you really want to see a remake of your favorite teenage TV show?
Well, honestly, Lessette, I don't think they can make another Golden Girls.
Come on.
Really?
You think so?
Because they had a dynamic that you can't match, There's like nuances in between all the characters, and they had a history, Try to like bring that back with different people, it'd be like a disconnect.
Do you have any ideas who you might want someone to play or anybody?
I have no clue. I feel like they could do a spin-off with maybe younger people and their roommates, maybe.
Okay.
Like, not to try to replicate the original, but almost be inspired by it.
I see what you're saying. What about you, Amanda?
No, yeah. I think I would like to see a remake. Maybe of Living Single more than Martin, just because it gives you different dynamics of different people's lives, and how they just do things every day.
So you're saying like they moved on from the college scene to real life and
Yeah.
family life?
But they could definitely do a
like
more
that.
younger version of it.
Oh, yeah.
Bring in a new people to play.
That's great. I love when
That
series
sounds
they
good.
have time skips.
Yeah.
It feels like you almost grow up with the characters,
Right.
like they're real.
Yeah.
I like that. What?
It depends on the show, but usually not. You take All in the Family, for example, because those actors were the show. And I think they attempted a reboot of that a couple years ago. I don't know how well it went. But now some action shows like Hawaii Five-0, things that were popular and so forth, but shows that were big in the 70s, like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Bob Newhart, Sanford and Son, and those people were the show. And those people are either old or too old or dead now, so you can't redo it. And besides, I think it's usually not a good idea to try to redo something that was very good.
Like
you
an
take a show
original.
that didn't work out. Try to improve that one.
Exactly.
Don't
Right.
try to top
Exactly.
them. Top one
saying.
was already good.
Yeah.
They make the same mistake with movies, by the way. But
Right.
Now,
you can
with
redo
me-
some, but not many.
With me, I would love to see a remake of Martin.
Yeah.
But with Tommy being, he's
But
passed.
see,
and all.
unless you have Martin Lawrence, for instance, it's not going to work because Sanford and Son, you couldn't do it without Red Fox.
Exactly.
Because he was the show.
I mean, with missing Tommy, come on now, how can you? How are you really gonna?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, and Bruh Man, you gotta have Bruh Man in there, and you gotta have Bruh Man.
You can write a character out, but you can't.
I
You
mean,
can't write the main character
on the
out.
fifth float.
Now, like you said, Mark, it is possible to like remake an old show and have it work really well, because I actually watched the remake of Hawaii Five-0 with my mom.
Yeah.
We like it a lot.
Supposedly that would work, and some do. But Hawaii Five-0 back in this was a good show.
Right.
But and Jack Lord was a big part of the show, the Book of Dano and all that good stuff. But when the show is really about, it really focuses on really one main character, the cast, the ensemble. You can't redo it.
You
The
can't
Mary
replace
Tyler
that
Moore show would
dynamic.
not work with anyone else but those people in that show.
For sure.
Ed Asner, who passed away recently, Gavin McLeod, Ted Knight, it wouldn't work without them. Archie Bunker was, Carol O'Connor was Archie Bunker. No one
Right.
else was.
I
Red
agree.
Fox was Fred Sanford. And by the way,
Come
his
to
real
join you, Elizabeth.
and his real name was John Sanford. His brother's real name was Fred Sanford. That's where the name came from. So.
Right. I agree. So I guess it seems like to me, that's a no.
But me watching Hawaii Five-0 for the first time as the remake these characters that are new and like fresh, they have their own dynamic.
Yeah.
And that provides like a new life for the show.
I agree with
You
that.
know, it has almost a different identity, same name though, and it's one that I can enjoy.
I think I like the idea of remaking a show and having new dynamics, you know, a part of the show, not necessarily trying to imitate someone or another character. Just start fresh and, you know, relate to the culture that's in play today. You know?
But I think it depends on the show, though, because with me, I prefer good acting over good action.
That's
Hawaii
true.
Five-O is good action, and it's a good show. But my favorite cop show of all time was not drama. It was a comedy, a sitcom called Barney Miller from the late 70s.
Remember that?
Best TV show I ever saw because the actors worked very well, and it was the lighter side of police work. A little dark sense of humor, but the cast worked very well together, and
That's
you couldn't
synergy.
do that without another cast.
That's important.
Hal Linden,
Absolutely.
Ron Glass, Abe Vigoda, Jack So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Great show. You won't be disappointed.
All right, we'll come right back. You know, what TV show was not all of that, in your opinion, that people just had so much hype for?
That's actually a really tough question because the shows I don't like don't really stick around in my memory. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
But me and my mom, we watch this old TV show channel. It's like Me TV or something. And every time a MASH commercial comes on, she kind of groans and rolls her eyes. So if I had to speak for my mom, she didn't like MASH.
For sure. I didn't like, you know, I really didn't like MASH either. I'm serious. I just could not, you know.
I liked it,
I
but
just didn't.
it's a funny thing. I don't know how this works, but I liked it then. I don't like it now. I don't really know why. To me, the message has gotten kind of passé to me. Others think just the opposite. But in my day, one of the most popular shows of the 70s was Happy Days, which is
like
supposedly
Happy
set
Days.
in the 50s, but the people's hairstyles were straight out of the 1970s. It started out as a very good show. And then, and in fact, it literally jumped the shark. Now, for those who are not familiar with that term, that means that a show pulls a stunt that is so idiotic in order to get continued viewership that it'll do anything silly. And the scene that from Happy Days that gave us that saying was Arthur Fonzarelli or Fonzie jumping a shark with a leather jacket.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
So that's where the term "jumping shark" came. And so it was still popular, but to me it had gotten just bad by the time it got to that point.
Amanda?
You know, it's a good one. I don't know a whole lot, but I'm gonna say the Brady Bunch. I could not stand the Brady Bunch.
Why?
They're just annoying.
It's just
I
Brady
second the
Bunch.
Brady
Come on,
It's
you
I could-
little
I just
kids.
couldn't.
I could sit
do
and watch
it.
that show for hours and never smile or laugh.
I love the Brady
made me
Bunch.
sick.
Petticoat Junction, the same thing. From the
I
60s.
couldn't stand, what I just could not stand was All in the Family. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just,
I'm crushed.
I'm sorry, but I just couldn't. I just didn't like it.
What about it?
I'm mean, aren't I? I mean, I just didn't like it at all. The reason why I didn't like it is just like, to me, it was like boring.
Yeah.
You know, I just couldn't get into it.
I feel that.
Yeah, if the show's boring, you're not gonna get into it.
But it was boring though.
I'm
It was
sorry.
constant fighting. How can you not love that? Inside the house,
Right.
name calling,
I mean, I like the characters. I just didn't care for the show. You know.
to each their own.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, Shugs. I really am. But in all of this, you know what? It's great when we can have TV shows that we can look at when we're young, old, or whatever. It doesn't matter, you know. But one good thing about television shows is that it has a tendency to mimic our culture and what's going on in our life at the time. So even if it was way back then or now or whenever, I just love myself some TV. So don't forget, I hope you had a great time, and don't forget to please leave your comments in the comment section. And also, I want you to know that we love your thoughts and your I'm sorry.
Speaking in tongues.
I messed it up. I'm a mean mama, ain't I? Oh, you want me to go on?
No, you're not supposed to say it.
we're going to have our ending thoughts.
You know, I really enjoyed TV as a teenager, but I liked it when it was funny, it was comedy. I'm not down with all the serious stuff, so as long as it's comedy and funny, I'm down with it.
Okay.
You know, like sitcoms and comedy shows that you can just like sit back and relax to. They provide a form of escapism. You know, when life gets tough, you can always look at someone else's life, you know? And I think it's really important to have an outlet like that.
That's good.
It's definitely important to me, you know, when I'm ignoring homework. But how do you feel about TV in general?
It's me? Who are you looking at?
You can go first. It's all good.
You know, it's, and I guess I'm just doing a history thing here. It's a good vehicle for looking at the culture of a time period in which it was,
Absolutely.
not only in terms of hairstyles and clothes they wore and so forth, but the subjects that were talked about and that good stuff. But there's lots of good stuff on TV nowadays. It's just that we're in a much different era now. When I was a kid and a teenager, there were basically 3 or 4 channels. That was it. Most folks didn't have cable.
Wow.
There was no such thing. Yeah, that's the dark ages, right? There's no such thing as streaming, things like that. When the TV messed up, you didn't turn it off and on. You whacked it on the side, and that always fixed it.
Number 4.
Yeah, right. But the antennas and so forth. But there's a lot of good stuff on television nowadays too. It's just sometimes it's good to reminisce. But
My parents tell me the TV turns off at 12. You get the little screen with the
Yeah.
the national anthem would play a lot of
That
those.
sounds creepy. That would creep me out.
You know what? We could carry this on all day long. But I know some of y'all got to get to work. But just know this, that we really appreciate TV and sitcoms and all those things like that. We appreciate that. You know why? Because it shares a little bit about life, and we see the perspective through other people, and we have a chance to go look and peep in their family and their little house and see what's going on. So we love TV, no matter whether it's way back yonder or up here. Don't even matter. I just love TV. Am I right? We love TV.
Yes.
We love TV.
And we're going to look at it some more, ain't we?
Oh, yeah.
Come on up in here.
Check out Breaking Bad.
You know what? Thank you for watching today, My Perspective Mondays. Don't forget to make your comments in the comment section. And just remember that we respect your perspective on my perspective. Thank you.